Hi there, I'm Alex Noisy, lead designer on BitTrip Rerunner, and in this RunnerMaker video tutorial, I'll discuss what the Path Objects tab is used for and how to interact with it. For an overview of general RunnerMaker controls, please check out our RunnerMaker introduction video, since this video won't highlight basic controls, and will instead focus on the unique controls used specifically in the Path Objects tab. As such, I'm going to open the Advanced Controls panel for reference on controls unique to this tab, like so. Once you've got an environment foundation down, you can start placing path objects in your level. This video talks about the specific features of the Path Objects tab, including some best practices and restrictions at the end of the video. As described in the RunnerMaker introduction video, you navigate the viewport up above with the left analog stick, and the palette down below with the right analog stick. To start basic path object layout, simply navigate to the object you want and press the X button to place it at your cursor's position in the viewport. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to plop down a few of these. Here, I'm going to do something a little tricky. I'm going to place two things directly on top of each other, because we're going to get into a little something on that in a minute. So, I've got a few objects laid out here in the level, and that was just using the basic controls. Now, beyond simple placement of these objects, RunnerMaker has a lot of advanced level design functionality as well. To select objects one by one, simply move the cursor onto them and press the square button, like so. You can see I've now got that tone selected, and as I move my cursor around, you see the word tone up there to tell me what I've got selected. Now, if multiple objects are in the same place, as was this case, when I tap the square button, it will select one of these, and I can tap it again to select the other one. So now I've got the jump selected, or I've got the tone selected. So that's how you can cycle through objects that are placed in the exact same spot when selecting them. You can also select multiple objects at once by holding the square button and dragging a selection box around them, like this. Now I've got all of these selected. You can also deselect objects by pressing and holding the square button down, like that. You can move selected objects by holding the triangle button and moving your cursor, like this. You can do this with one object or a group of any number of objects. So let's say I actually want these here. I can just move them there. You can also copy selected objects by pressing R2. So if I've selected all of these, I can press R2 and copy them. And now you see I've got a copy floating around, and I can go and I can place that wherever I like. You can also cycle through copied objects by tapping R2 repeatedly to cycle through all the objects you've previously copied in previous sessions in RunnerMaker. You can see all of these different gameplay patterns that I have copied. Now, another big thing to keep in mind is the density layers. You should create obstacle density layers when possible, so that players of differing skill levels can still enjoy your level. Medium density is the default off of which the other two densities are based. High density allows for more obstacles to be placed in addition to those already in play on the medium density layer. And low density allows for obstacles to be deleted from those already in play on the medium density layer. A good way to think about densities in BitTrip Rerunner is that low is medium gameplay minus some objects, and high is medium gameplay plus some objects. Only obstacles may be added or removed from high and low densities, not collectibles, etc. As you start creating levels, I wanted to let you know about some restrictions and some best practices to help make your levels really pop. So let's get the restrictions out of the way first. Springboards and checkpoints, that's these guys here, springboard, checkpoint. Springboards and checkpoints must be placed on the ground. So if I try to place one here, I can't do it. I can place one there. That's a terrible spot for a springboard because it gets you close to that stair, and that's sort of, you can definitely recover from that, but it's kind of not the best spot. Also, a maximum of 4 of these little guys, these mode ups. Can't place another one. So a maximum of 4 mode ups can be placed per level. Also, checkpoints can't be placed within 16 beats of the end of a level. So I can't put one here, for instance. Also, checkpoints must be at least 12 beats apart from each other. And the final restriction is that objects can't be placed within 1/2 beat of the end of a level. Now, some things to keep in mind to help you make the most out of your level designs. After laying out a foundational environment, as discussed in the Environment Tiles tab video, you can next place your mode ups. I'm going to delete these in favor of placing them where they'll sound nice. You can place your mode ups after playing the environment and listening to the song and seeing where they sound the best. So I'm just going to place them sort of willy-nilly for the purposes of this video, but you can place them wherever you like. However, they do sound best at the start of measures, or at least on whole beats. Again, though, that is not a rule. After you place your mode ups, try placing your checkpoints. And again, checkpoints can be placed wherever you want, keeping those restrictions in mind, but they usually feel really good right after or right before a mode up. And you're going to want at least 2 full beats, like that, of empty gameplay right after a checkpoint. This is to give the player some time to recover after they start running again. Gold bars can be placed to fill in song moments without adding more obstacles. So let's say you've got a hard level and you think it's hard enough, but you still want some musicality. Well, you can use gold bars to achieve this, and you can make it mildly challenging, like this. These first 2 you don't have to take any action for, but this one you'll have to jump for. It's not a difficult challenge, and if you fail this jump challenge, the worst thing that happens is you miss a gold bar. So you can fill in song moments without necessarily making your level more difficult. Gold bars can also help to show the player where they need to go. They can also be placed in tricky situations to add extra challenge for players who are striving for perfect runs. They're really quite versatile objects. Now, invisible tones, these guys. These are placed on every step up in the environment in our campaign levels. They're also placed after most gaps in the campaign levels. And I also put them underneath a slide obstacle like in Tile 10 here. You can experiment around with these tones. You can place them wherever you like. You can use them to make your levels more musical. You can use them to make your levels silly. It's all up to you. Now also, something else to keep in mind is you can play around with the visual style setting, which I will get into in a Runner Maker's settings video. But sometimes it's nice to see how your level design fits in with the world, like we're viewing it now. And other times, it's preferable to see pure level design only. In fact, let me show you what I mean just real quickly here. I'm going to go all the way down to collision only. So this way, you can view pure level design if you like. Here, you can see just the gameplay plane without the background, and here, you get all of it. Another thing to keep in mind is that repeating patterns, like these that I have here, feel good to the player. They're like musical phrases, and they help the player understand the level and get into the flow a little easier. Now, I talked about the density layers, and while they're not required, the best levels do have gameplay on each density layer. So if you're going for likes in the levels that you share, make sure to add different density layers, and also add checkpoints. Keep in mind, of course, that harder isn't always better, but flow is. If you're trying to create a hard level, also try to make it flow. This video showed you the basics of how to lay out path objects in Runner Maker. In the next video, we'll get into cosmetic objects, which are the things that Commander Video runs past or interacts with passively. Thanks for watching. We can't wait to play the levels that you come up with.